welcome to the stream, everyone. I am your guest speaker today, and wherefore, Liam, as you know, some of you, and now all of you. Hello, hello, hello. Today we are streaming a box break for Scars of Mirrodin, and some of the Lotus Council folk that hang out on Discord got the opportunity to buy some packs. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 folks who are going to get packs today. So yeah, if you have anything to, hello everyone. Clearly there's a delay, so if I appear to be ignoring you, it's only because I'm ignoring you, or there's a delay in the chat. Yeah, oh, what's happened? Oh, that's my fingers. This is my very first stream of all time, so please be gentle. Seems pretty straightforward though. I think we got the equipment all working, so let's get started. Okay, this is the box. The exciting stuff is inside the box, but I just wanted to show you that it's still like sealed and whatnot. These are going to be very, very all right, very, very fresh packs here. Scars of Mirrodin is 11 years old. It was the first in a 3-set block. Scars of Mirrodin, Mirrodin of Siege, New Phyrexia. And it's got some pretty good cards in it. Sorry, B. Gray, I didn't mean to ignore you. Hey, Dan. Okay. Oh, well, we've got this cool box art thing going. I don't know if you can see that. That guy. Who's that guy? I forgot his name. Oh, well, you know, the face cam thing. I think I don't know who I was talking to. I think it was my daughter. Koth, thank you. I think it was my daughter that I was talking to this past weekend, just saying, you know, as I get older, I just don't give a crap about what people think. And that includes my physical appearance. Like, I haven't shaved or anything today. It's doesn't take it very much effort to put me on camera. I do a lot of presenting at work though, so that might be it. What I'm going to do is just pile shuffle these, because not pile shuffle, washing machine shuffle these. All right, Koth. Get rid of that guy. Yes. Ooh. That's right. No more F's given. That's exactly right. You know, I'm kind of a big dude, and that's a euphemism for fat. So I used to be very, very self-conscious about like getting in the pool or whatever. And I used to always wear a t-shirt to get in the pool. And you know, these days I just don't give a crap. Everybody can see my jiggliness. It's fine. All right. So what do you guys think? Do you think we should go in order of the spreadsheet? I don't even know what order the spreadsheet's in. I think it's in order of people that have bought the actual like purchase order of the packs. I think. Yeah, it took me a long time to learn to love myself, JTK. But you know, once I did that, I was much, much happier in my life. All right. Let's see what we got here. Set those right over there so we can see them. Ish. Okay. Yeah, so let's just start from the top here. We've got, do we pull aside the pack staying sealed? I could do that. I think T-Money said that his #1 pick was Elspeth, right? So let's pull that one out. These are all randomized, so further randomization changes nothing. As Magic players, you all know this. I mean, did I put them? I did. I put them all at the front. There's one. So this is for T-Money. He's asked that we set one aside because he's setting up he's got a sealed pack collection, and I have a few packs over here for him. So I'll just set this one aside for him. And then the other person that wanted a sealed pack was Cheese Over Rice. So Are you in the chat today, Cheesy? Yeah, which pack art would you like? There's 5. Uh, One of them is Elspeth, but for some reason I didn't pull any of her out. Big thick boy. That's this guy, I assume. I mean, that's champion could also be considered big thick boy, although looks pretty slim. Okay, this guy. All right, this will be for cheese over rice. Set that one aside. All right. Okay, well, let's get started then. Oh, we do have one more pack to pull aside. Dan wanted me to set aside his pack. Dan, do you have a preference as to which pack art? I have like the 5. Did I? Yeah, there we go. Waiting to see what Dan says here. I should probably not be putting that behind my face, huh? I should probably be like in the middle of the. Well, I think Dan, you mentioned that you wanted to donate it back to the council, but you pick which pack. Just tell me which cover art, and I'll set it aside. Oh, I pick? Okay. Well, I'm partial to Etch Champion. Actually, it's my favorite pack art, so we'll set this one aside. Okay, that's out of the way. Let's get started. Okay, so first off, we've got Bandit Wolf. Bandit Wolf has 2 packs coming up. Take the first 2 packs. We get a Thick Boy and a Koth. Let's get started. Packs. I have to admit, the only pack openings I've ever watched were the Professor's when he does his booster box challenge. He's got some good, but he has the advantage of, you know, pre-recording his box breaks. This is a live stream, so I'll just try to build the drama here. Starting off with Blade Tribe Berserkers. Have any of you drafted during Scars of Mirrodin, or played basically during Standard? Blade Tribe Berserkers was kind of a workhorse for the red aggro deck. And for those of you that don't remember Scars of Mirrodin, it was a artifacts matter block. In fact, Mirrodin is an artifacts plane. So most of these cards are going to have artifacts matter stuff on them. There was a ability called Metalcraft. Oh, block draft, that's fun. Ability called Metalcraft, and basically, if you control 3 or more artifacts, you get some effect. So in this case, I don't know if that's clear enough to read. I'm looking at a very small version of it, but anyway, when he enters the battlefield, if you control 3 or more artifacts, he gets +3/+3 in haste until the end of the turn. So this is like a 6/6 haster coming out on turn 4 most of the time. I cannot handle this. All right, so next is Iron Mirror. Iron Mirror is a 1/1, and he's a mana rock. She's a mana rock. It's a mana rock. They are a mana rock. 2 generic mana. Tap to add red to your mana pool. That could power up Blade Tribe Berserkers. Next, we've got Kemba's Skyguard. Kemba's Skyguard enters the battlefield. You gain 2 life. It's a 2/2 flyer for 1 and 1 white. Molder Beast is a 5/3 trampler for 4 in green. Whenever an artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, Molder Beast gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. So, which is pretty good for a trample creature. And there are quite a few artifacts in the set, as I mentioned before. Nearrock Replica, 3 generic mana for a 1/4. For 1 and a blue, and sacrifice Nearrock Replica, return target creature to its owner's hand. So it's a very expensive unsummon, but remember that sacrificing artifacts powers up Molder Beast, so there's some synergy there, I would say. Steady Progress. I like this card. It's probably no secret that I'm a blue player. Steady Progress for 2 and a blue. You proliferate and then draw a card. That's a good card. That's a staple right there. Nihil Spellbomb. Oh, I have fond memories of Spellbomb. Nihil Spellbomb for 1 generic mana. It is an artifact. Tap and sacrifice. Exile all cards from the target player's graveyard. And when Nihil Spellbomb is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay black if you do draw a card. Again, more sacrifice artifacts. Pretty good. Next up we have Dross Hopper. Popper Bomb. Yeah, Nihil Spellbomb is indeed. Dross Hopper, 1 and a black. Creature Insect Horror is a 2/1. And sacrifice creature. Dross Hopper gains flying until the end of turn. Melt Terrain. Ah, the 4-cost land destruction. But this one also is a shock. So it says destroy target land. Melt Terrain deals 2 damage to that land's controller. And instead of the usual red and 3, it's red, red, and 2. Because that extra shock value. Any good pulls yet? Well, we're almost done with the commons on the first pack, so hopefully we'll get there. We did pull a Nihil Spellbomb. That's a pretty good popper card. Echo Circlet. Echo Circlet is 2 generic for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature can block an additional creature. Equip 1. So that's pretty good. Okay, and now we're on to our uncommons. The first uncommon we pull is Necropede. Yes, Infect. What a beautiful, beautiful mechanic. So good, so good. Yeah, this is the first pack. No worries. So Necropede is definitely an Infect All-Star. It's 2 generic mana. It has Infect. And when it's a 1/1, and when it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. So for those of you unfamiliar with Infect, it deals damage as -1/-1 counters, like Wither, but it can also put poison counters on players if you hit them for damage. So yeah, Infect is a good mechanic. In fact, it's so good that I think it's what is it, 8 or a 9 on the Storm scale. Probably not going to see that again because it's really quite good. This one is for Bandit Wolf. So Necropede. That's a pretty good uncommon. Next we have Memnite. Memnite is a 0-cost 1/1 artifact creature. So it's a bad ornithopter. But it's still decent. Tangle Angler, another infect creature. For 3 and a green, you get a 1/5 and for 1 green, a lure ability. Target creature blocks Tangle Angler this turn if able. So in fact, you won't see a lot of large powers on infect creatures because for those of you unfamiliar with poison rules, the alternate win condition is to give your opponent 10 poison counters. And so for every point of damage dealt by an infect creature, they receive 1. So there are some creatures with a higher power that have an effect, but they're not going to be found in uncommon. And our rare for this pack is Painful Quandary. 3 black. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player loses 5 life unless he or she discards a card. So it sounds like a decent commander card. I haven't actually seen it, but I'm not much of a commander player. So a $24 card. Ooh. Well, I'm glad that you guys have that on the screen because I am not good at card values. So I appreciate that. $24 card. That's a pretty good card for the first pack. We've got a Swamp and a Mirror token. So congratulations, Bandit Wolf. First pack is a winner. All right, second pack. Don't worry, I won't be reading every single card that comes out, but I feel like I haven't opened this in a long time, and it feels good to see these cards again. So here we go. Volshock Replica, 3 generic for an artifact creature Berserker. Ooh, Berserker. I've been playing Berserkers in the Kaldheim Sealed League over at Geekified, and it's been pretty good to me. Berserkers have been good. 3/1, 1 in a red, sacrifice. Volrock Replica deals 3 damage to target player, so you can bolt somebody with this guy. Excellent. Blight Mamba, Infect 1/1 for 1 in a green, and also 1 in a green you can regenerate. So it's a Infect Regenerator. This was a staple in Draft. Revoke Existence. This is a reprint, so 1 in a white, exile target artifact or enchantment. Wing Puncture. It is 1 green for an instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature with flying. So it's green's typical flying hate. It's a one-sided fight. What do they call that? What do they call one-sided fight cards? I know that there's a name for that. I can't remember. Punch? I don't know. Goblin Gavalier, 1 red for a 1/1 Goblin Warrior. Trample. Goblin Gavalier gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it. So that's fun. Snapsail Glider. 3 generic mana for an artifact creature construct. It has Metalcraft, so it has flying if you control 3 or more artifacts. Yeah, Infect is... People who play Infect really like Infect, and people who don't play Infect really don't like Infect. That's the first rare was a Painful Quandary. Yeah, I love Infect too. I play Infect in I play Green Infect in Modern, or I used to a year ago. It's a lot of fun for me. Turn 2 wins about 20% of the time, so that's pretty good. Yeah, green. Stoic Rebuttal. It's a counterspell for blue and 1 instant. Stoic Rebuttal costs 1 less to cast if you control 3 or more artifacts. So if you have Metalcraft going, which is 3 or more artifacts, it is just a counterspell. Counter target spell. This is one of my favorite arts in the game because it depicts a Phyrexian casting a counterspell, which is interesting to me. It says Vidalcan on the bottom on the flavor text, but I always thought that was a Phyrexian. Maybe I'm just misremembering. Next is Relic Putrescence. For 2 and a black, it's an enchantment aura, enchant artifact. Whenever enchanted artifact becomes tapped, its controller gets a poison counter. So you stick this on not your artifacts, I would say. Yeah, I think that the total for poison is different in Commander, right? How many poison counters do you need to knock someone out in Commander? Is it 20? Another Spellbomb here, Flight Spellbomb. This is the blue one. For 1 generic mana, it is tap... Oh, it's still 10? Oh, not bad. It is tap and sacrifice Flight Spellbomb. I mean, especially if you have a certain monstrous raider out, right? Am I right? Target creature gains flying until end of turn. When Flight Spellbomb is put into the graveyard, you may pay blue. If you do, draw a card. So that's pretty good. Should be 20, but it ain't. I mean, you know, you can have table rules. Start with the uncommons here. Abunta Acolyte. This is a cat cleric for 1 and a white. It is tapped to prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. So it is a damage preventer. I was at a judge conference yesterday and they were talking about damage prevention effects, and they're basically replacement effects, but they have their own category because there's some cards that address damage prevention specifically. So, and then tap 1 to prevent the checking. Okay, so that's back on. I don't know why my headset turned off. Sorry. Ubuntu Acolyte. Ubuntu Acolyte is 1 and a white for 1/1 cat cleric. tap to prevent 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player, or tap to prevent the next 2 damage that would be dealt to target artifact creature this turn. So Ubuntu Acolyte loves artifacts. Mirror Smith, 1 and a white. For a 2/1 Human Artificer, when you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token onto the battlefield. You know what I should have done is put like a little stand so I can get these up here, but I have the focus fixed to the mat, so maybe it's not a good idea. Throne of Geth. Sacrifice an artifact to proliferate. This is a 2 generic cost artifact, and this was a great... It did a lot of work for me when in Scars of Mirrodin. And the rare is Horde Smelter Dragon. For 4 and red. You get a 5/5 flying dragon. For 3 and a red, you can destroy target artifact. Horde Smelter Dragon gets +X/+0 until the end of turn, where X is that artifact's converted mana cost. I love dragons. They're my second favorite creature type in Magic. So I would snap pick this guy if I ever saw him in draft, and then force red because I love killing people with dragons. Plus killing artifacts in this set was pretty good. All right, a plains, a wolf, and a foil. We have liquid metal coating. It is 2 generic mana for an artifact. Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn. So a nice combo actually with these two. Horde Smelter Dragon and liquid metal coating. That is a good pack. Wow, 2 good packs in a row. That's fantastic. Those will be going to Bandit Wolf. Bandit Wolf, thanks for buying some packs. I hope you're happy with what you ended up with. Who's this Stream Elements guy? Keeps talking. I don't know who that is. Just kidding. All right, set those aside. Next up, we have Project MTG, better known to our Lotus Council family as Cohort. Am I saying that right? Cohort? Is it more like a one-syllable name? Kurt? Cohort? How do you court? It's court, right? Because is it court? I don't know. You tell me. Project MTG has 2 packs, like Court of Law. Got it. It's these 2 packs. So good luck, Court. Let's take a look. I know I'm a very fastidious pack opener. I went through a phase where I saved every single pack wrapper that I opened so that I could decorate deck boxes and stuff with them. I never did end up decorating anything, but I recently threw out a large bag of pack wrappers. Okay. Court. Blight Mamba. I saw this mentioned in the chat earlier. This is a workhorse in Infect. It's in Draft Infect. It is a 1 and a green for a snake, a 1/1 snake with Infect. Regenerate Blight Mamba for 1 and a green. Oh, we saw one of these before. Yeah. You save every wrapper. Yeah, you're you're people after my own heart. Next, common Sylvok Replica. 3 generic mana for an artifact creature Shaman. For 1 green and sacrifice, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment. So that doesn't suck. A lot of artifacts in this set. Fume Spitter. One of the things in the draft that I recall is you had to value artifact removal more highly than creature removal, just because there were so many artifacts, and in fact, many of the creatures were artifacts. So the artifacts were dangerous right along with infect creatures. Fume Spitter. For 1 black, you get a 1/1 horror. Sacrifice Fume Spitter, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. So that helps with the Wither theme. Veldalken Surtarch. For 1 blue, you get a 1/1 Veldalken Wizard. It has Metalcraft. You tap it, and you can tap target artifact, creature, or land. That's not bad. We are on Quartz packs, so this is pack number 3. Strider Harness. I mean, this was a pretty good equipment. For 3 generic, you get an equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has haste, and it is equip 1. So you get this guy out, and then All your dudes after that can swing in on the turn they come into play, essentially, for 1 generic mana. Disperse. Ah, yes, this is the bounce. It's 1 and a blue, instant, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Fulgent Distraction. 2 and a white, instant. Choose 2 target creatures. Tap those creatures, then unattach all equipment from them. So this was handy. Uh, hate against equipment decks, but also there are living weapons cards in this set. And living weapon is an equipment that creates a creature, like a 0/0 germ creature, and then it comes into play with the equipment attached. So, yeah, that would kill the germ, because once it loses the equipment, it's a 0/0, and state-based actions are your friend at that point. Dross Hopper, 1 and a black for an insect horror. Sacrifice a creature. Dross Hopper gains flying until end of turn. I remember this was a terrible card in draft. Copperhorn Scout is 1 green for a 1/1 elf scout. Whenever Copperhorn Scout attacks, untap each other creature you control. Pretty good elf. Yeah, I could tell we were getting a foil last pack because we only had 9 commons. Another Nile Spellbomb, and on to the uncommons. Ooh, Thrumming Bird. Thrumming Bird is a pretty good uncommon. It's 1 and a blue for a bird horror. It's a 1/1 flying. Whenever a Thrumming Bird deals combat damage to a player, proliferate. So I probably should have explained proliferate. It goes along with the -1/-1 and poison counters theme. You choose any number of permanents and or players with counters on them and give them each another counter of a kind already there. The rules for proliferate changed recently, and now they just did you pick one? Pick one kind of counter? Something like that. Am I turning into Gavin? Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast. No, I don't watch that channel. Contagion Clasp. This is a great card. This is a great card. Contagion Clasp. It's 2 generic mana for an artifact. They changed in War, I believe. I'll have to look up the rules. I remember that it changed. I don't remember what the new rule is. I think it's just 1 counter per permanent. I think. I'll double check. Contagion Clasp, 2 generic mana. When Contagion Clasp enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature, and then for 4 and tap Proliferate, which sounds expensive, but remember that by turn 4, you probably have a couple of counters out there, and it's going to add 1 to everything with a counter that you pick, right? So that's pretty good. Repeatable Proliferate is doesn't suck. Good Gavin impression. Yeah, I know. I should. What's behind me is a green screen, just for the stream, but it is a pile of Magic stuff back there that is just not very photogenic right now. Corrupted Harvester for 4 generic mana, black. Oh, explaining every card during his TSR box opening. Let me know if this is okay with. I mean, I could definitely shorten this up. I feel like part of the cool thing about opening an old booster box is kind of going through the cards again. Maybe you hear about cards you've forgotten about, or I've forgotten about. It's nice to see like the cards that I remember playing, like Contagion Clasp. I think it's an all-star. Anyway, Corrupted Harvester, 6/3, black, and sacrifice a creature, regenerate Corrupted Harvester. This is actually a pretty good finisher in black if you didn't have anything else. Okay, it sounds like folks are personally are okay with it, so that's cool. Oh, and our rare is Tunnel Ignis. I remember this card. This is a landfall card, but it only has one-sided landfall. So Tunnel Ignis, for 1 and a red, you get a 2/1 elemental. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player had another land enter the battlefield this turn, Tunnel Ignis deals 3 damage to that player. So this slows down ramping, basically. I remember this card was not good in draft, but it was great in constructed. It was perfect for people using fetches and evolving wilds, things like that. So that didn't come up too often in draft for this set, but definitely in the it's in the standard environment it did. Anybody have a 41 cents? Thank you. So that was a miss, and we have a rules tip for Metalcraft instead of a token. That's cool. All right, Court. Sorry that it wasn't another 20 something dollar rare, but they can't all be winners, I guess. All right, next pack. I know the rules tips cards. They're pretty cool. They started doing them again. But they're doing like mini game cards now. Okay. Auriok Replica. This is for 3 generic mana, you get a 2/2 artifact creature cleric, which is kind of a weird thing to think about, right? Like, are robots really clerics? I mean, I guess they are if you're in Magic. For 1 white, for white and sacrifice, prevent all damage a source of your choice would deal to you this turn. So another damage prevention effect. Plague Stinger, Plague Stinger. You can tell how much I love Infect. For 1 and a black, you get a 1/1 Insect Horror that has Flying and Infect. Flying Infect creatures are kind of broken. Just FYI. Blade Tribe Berserkers. We talked about this dude before, or these dudes before. They're the ones that get +3/+3 on Metalcraft, +3/+3 in haste. Iron Mirror, again, tap to add red. Strider Harness, again, it's an equipment, equip for 1, +1/+1 in haste. Contagious Nim, we haven't seen this guy yet. It is for 2 and a black, you get a zombie, a 2/2 zombie with Infect. So that's pretty good. Nurok Replica, again, this is the unsummoned dude. It's the Nim in my Pauper Infect. Pauper Infect is just wrong. That is just wrong. Razorfield Thresher, for 7 generic mana, you get a 6/4 vanilla construct. But remember, it's an artifact, and that matters a lot in this deck. Scoria Elemental, for red and 4, you get a 6/1 vanilla elemental. Bladed Pinions. My favorite creature type in Magic is Angel. And even though this is not an Angel, the art, I don't know if you can see that. I should, like, probably, is it worth it to try and, let's see. That is not what I wanted. Sorry, this is my first stream, so I am figuring a few things out here. I used the wrong slider. That is the zoom slider. That's not what I wanted either. Ah, here we go. Ah, Bladed Pinions. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Maybe I'll keep it like this. Bladed Pinions. Of course, then I'm going to be moving out of the frame, huh? Don't worry, I'll get the hang of this at some point. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature has flying and first strike, equip 2, but this is the Auriok. The Auriok are the angels of Mirrodin. So this is an angel on the art. Angels are the best. Okay, moving on to our uncommons. We have Darkslick Drake. Darkslick Drake, decent creature, blue and 2. You get a 2/4 Drake. Flying. When Drake is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So back when they thought cantrips were kind of broken, they did it on graveyard effect. Trigon of Thought. This is for 5 generic mana. You get an artifact. Trigon of Thought enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. For blue and tap, put a charge counter on, and for 2 and tap, remove a charge counter from Trigon of Thought to draw a card. So that's pretty good. Repeatable card draw. Yeah, I love that art on the art in Scars of Mirrodin is actually really really good across the board. Mirrodin's style is really um, I would say artifacty. Is that a thing? Artifacty? But you know the Phyrexians invaded Mirrodin, and the whole Phyrexian shtick is to complete, which is not spelled like you think it is, and that basically means meld whatever technology they find with the flesh and bone. So it's some of my favorite villains in Magic because they appeal to my goth side, my industrial side. Okay. Ooh, one of my favorite cards from the set. The rare is Sunblast Angel. Sunblast Angel is white, white, and 4. And for a 4/5 Angel flying, when Sunblast Angel enters the battlefield, destroy all tapped creatures. I mean, I just said it was my favorite. I didn't say it was expensive. 60 cents. So, sorry, Court. Court. Court? That's right. We have a forest and a soldier. Yeah, the angel art is so pretty. The they generally have metallic wings in this set, so they're very pretty angels. Okay, well that concludes Quartz packs. Sorry they were not as spicy as the first couple, but you know. Okay, what's next? I'm pulling out two, like the next person has two, but it's not. So the next person we're opening for is T Money. He has 6 packs, but one was set aside, so we'll do 5. 5 packs. First pack, T Money. Here we go. I think that angel became a Traxa. Maybe. I don't actually know that. Does anybody know if Sunblast Angel became a Traxa? Flavor text is not revealing. Oh, Glinthawk. So first common is Glinthawk. It's 1 white for a 2/2 flying bird. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. This was pretty annoying in draft. Glinthawk Idol, 2 generic mana for an artifact. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Glinthawk Idol become a 2/2 artifact creature with flying until the end of the turn. For 1 white artifact, Glinthawk Idol becomes a 2/2 artifact creature with flying until the end of the turn. So it had like a artifact fall, and you could also turn it into a bird for 1 white. The packs were very shuffled. Yeah, I did a washing machine shuffling. It's weird to see my hand like that. Lumen Grid Drake. For 3 and a blue, you get a 2/2 flying Drake with Metalcraft, which is when it enters the battlefield, if you control 3 or more artifacts, return target creature to its owner's hand. So it was a bouncer. Decent draft card, as bouncers are. Vedalken Surtark, we've talked about this one. This is the you can tap it with Metalcraft for tapping a creature, artifact, or land. Copper Mirror. So this was a 5-card cycle. We saw one of the other ones already. I forgot which one it was, but this one you can tap to add green to your mana pool. The cycle is 1 of each color, 2 generic mana at common. Great for fixing. 1/1. White Sun's Passage. For 1 and a white, you gain 5 life at instant speed. Turn Aside. Instant for a blue, counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. That was pretty relevant in Scoria Elemental. That's a 6/1 vanilla creature for 4 and a red. Withstand Death for 1 green. It's an instant. I don't know why my headset keeps turning off. Withstand death. Target creature is indestructible this turn. So that's pretty good. It's not as good as the new one we have, Heroic Intervention, but it was really good back then. Indestructible is important. Volition Reigns is our first uncommon, and as you may have noticed, we got 9 commons, so there's probably a foil back there. Lucky you, T-Money. Volition Reigns. Volition Reigns says, for blue, 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 and 3, you get an aura enchant permanent. When Volition Reigns enters the battlefield, if enchanted permanent is tapped, untap it, and you control enchanted permanent. So that's pretty good. It's a control magic with a thought towards artifacts because it's permanents. Trigon of Corruption, another from our Trigon cycle. This one says, again, 3 charge counters. For black, black, and tap, you can put a charge counter on. For 2 and tap, you remove a charge counter and put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. I've been told I have a voice for radio. Some of my earlier jobs were answering phones, so I got pretty good at that. Dispense Justice. For 2 and a white, you can, it's at instant speed. Target player sacrifices an attacking creature. But if you have 3 or more artifacts, they sacrifice 2 attacking creatures instead. That's pretty good. Ooh, Seachrome Coast is our rare. Chrome Coast, one of the all-stars in the set, I think, in terms of like commander play. Seachrome Coast enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. $7 according to JTK. Cool. Add blue. I'm sorry, tap to add white or blue to your mana pool. That's pretty good. Is that the fast land cycle? 2 or fewer other lands? I can't remember. So that's a pretty good rare. A swamp. Or Modern Legacy. I guess that makes sense. Rules tip, and our foil is a foil mountain. It's pretty. Okay. That was pack number 1 for T-Money. I don't know why I put the rules tip on top. Let's do another one. Really, I love foil lands, but I know what you mean. Serranos, I play them in all my commander decks. The fast lands? Kemba's Skyguard. It's a 2/2 Cat Knight for white, white, and 1, and it's flying. Let me get this back up here. And when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. I like foil basics. I know everybody has their thing. But, you know, it's a buck. If that's your thing. Soliton. For 5. Yeah, that's true. That's true. For this particular application, maybe they're not the best foil to pull. For 5 generic mana, you get a 3/4 artifact creature construct, and for 1 blue, you can untap it. Auriok Sunchaser. For 1 and a white, you get a 1/1 human soldier. It has Metalcraft. As long as you kill 3 or more artifacts, it gets +2/+2 and has flying. So that's a pretty good rate. 3/3 flyer for 2 if you have Metalcraft. Perilous Mirror. Perilous Mirror. So when Perilous Mirror is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So this was a great card to have if your theme was sacrificing artifacts. It's a good shock on the way out. Could also block and shock. So it could basically take down a 3 toughness creature. Volshock Heartstoker. I was going to say Heartstroker, but that wasn't it. 2 and a red creature for a 2/2 creature human shaman. When a Volshock Heartstroker enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 until the end of the turn. So aggro decks like that guy. Vidalcan Cert Arc, we talked about this one. This is the tapper. Copper Mirror, this is the tap to add green to your mana pool, part of that cycle. Untamed Might, so this is pretty good. Green and X, At instant speed, target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn. Pretty straightforward. Very, very good in Infect. Wall of Tangle Cord. For two, a generic mana, you get an artifact creature wall with Defender 0/6, and for 1 green, Wall of Tangle Cord gains Reach until end of turn. Pretty good wall if you're into that sort of thing. Golden Urn. For 1 generic mana, you get an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Golden Urn. Tap and sacrifice Golden Urn. You gain life equal to the number of charge counters on Golden Urn. So life gain, not as... It's okay. Life gain is one of those things. New players seem to value it pretty highly. And it's true that the main way you can lose, or the most common way to lose, is to run out of life. But in this set, poison was a thing. So a little bit less. That would be a last pick draft. Okay. On to the uncommons. Trigon of Thought. This is the blue Trigon that lets you remove a counter for drawing a card. Auriok Edgewright. White, for a 2/2 human soldier. Auriok Edgewright with Metalcraft. This card has double strike as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. So that's pretty good. A 2/2 double striker for 2. Glimmerpoint Stag. For white, and 2, you get a 3/3 Elk. Oko fans rejoice. When Glimmerpoint Stag enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So it blinks. Enter the battlefield stuff is good. And we have an Etched Champion as our rare. This is one of the pack art guys, also one of my favorite arts in the set, just because it's so colorful and pretty. Matt Cavada is the artist. So for 3 generic mana, you get a 2/2 soldier with Metalcraft, $1.73. Metalcraft says, Etched Champion has protection from all colors as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. That doesn't suck. Planes and the Infect Rules tip card. So just in case, you need to get another refresher on those. All right. Those are 2 down, 3 to go for T-Money. Oh, I've been at it 47 minutes. This is going to be a long stream, huh? Maybe I'll speed it up a little bit. So this next pack, T-Money's 3rd pack, Glinthawk Idol. Flameborn Hellion. It's a Hellion, so you know what this is going to be. It's a 5/4 with haste for 5 and a red. Flameborn Hellion attacks each turn if able. Sylvok Replica for 3. You get a 1/3 Shaman. We already talked about this one. Bleak Coven Vampires. So vampires weren't very common, but they did exist in Mirrodin. Black, and 3 for a 4/3 Vampire Warrior with Metalcraft, which says target player loses 4 life and you gain 4 life. So it drains for 4 if you control 3 or more artifacts when it ETBs. That doesn't suck. Stoic Rebuttal. This is the counterspell that costs less if you have Metalcraft. Loxodon Wayfarer. It's white and 2 for 2 and a white, I should say, for a 1/5 Elephant Monk. Vanilla for Elephant Monk. Wing Puncture. This is the one-sided fight card for flyers, or against flyers, I guess I should say. Steady Progress. Yes, we love this card. I love this card. Horizon Spellbomb. This is the green Spellbomb. It's for 1 generic mana. You get an artifact. Sorry. Tap 2 and sacrifice Horizon Spellbomb. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. When it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay green. If you do, draw a card. Glimmerpost. It is a land locust. When Glimmerpost enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each locust on the battlefield, and it taps for 1 generic mana. I'm sorry, for 1 colorless mana. This one does not have a foil, you're right. Furnace Celebration. whenever you sacrifice another permanent for, I'm sorry, it's an enchantment for red, red, and 1. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, you may pay 2 generic mana. If you do, Furnace Celebration deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So this is in the Sacrifice Artifacts deck. You could shock for 2 generic mana whenever you sacrifice an artifact. And that was pretty good. Trigon of Rage, this is the red Trigon. Remove a charge counter from Trigon, and target creature gets +3/+0 until end of turn. Good for Infect. What isn't good for Infect, right? Clearly the best mechanic ever made. Darksteel Sentinel for 6 mana. You get a 3/3 with Flash and Vigilance, and it is indestructible because it's made of Darksteel. Oh, Darksteel things are indestructible for those of you that don't know. And the rare is Chimeric Mass, or Chimeric Mass, depending on the English that you subscribe to. It has a casting cost of X. Chimeric Mass enters the battlefield with X charge counters on it. For one generic mana until end of turn, Chimeric Mass becomes a construct artifact creature with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of charge counters on it. 35 cents. Okay, we have a Plains, and ooh, Goblin. That guy is really ugly. I mean, no judgment, but that dude's ugly. Okay. So that was pack number 3. Going to pack number 4. I think we're getting close to the time when my headset turns back off, so if that happens, I'll just turn it back on. It's silly. Glinthawk. Leaden Mirror. This is the tapping cycle. This one taps for black. Fume Spitter. We talked about this one to put a -1/-1 counter if you sacrifice it, so that's pretty good. My daughter has a -1/-1 counters deck. I should probably get some Fume Spitters for her. She needs a little bit of more counter magic on there. Corpse Cur is for 4 generic mana. You get a 2/2 with Infect. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card with Infect from your graveyard to your hand. So yes, this was a good card in draft. If you ended up in the Infect seat, or in any of the Infect seats, because there were several, that was one of the all-stars to pick up. One of the best commons. Patra. Yeah, my daughter's is a white-black deck, and she's much more of a Johnny than a Spike. And it's a 60-card constructed deck, but she basically has a lot of singletons in it. She just plays for fun. She's got like Sarah Angels and Nightmares, and she's got other stuff in there. But -1/-1 counters are. Oh, she likes to do that to me. She likes to kill my creatures with -1/-1 counters. Yeah, Orzhov, right? Exactly. Goblin Gavalier. We talked about this guy. He's the trample that gets bigger with equipment. Necrogen Censor. So Necrogen Censor enters the battlefield with 2 charge counters on it. For 3 mana, you get an artifact, and it is tap and remove a charge counter. Target player loses 2 life. So that's all right. Repeatable damage, life loss kind of stuff. Needs wither creatures then? Yeah, she does have a couple of wither creatures in there. I've been trying to figure out if I want to give her infect creatures because I feel like she'll really get into that. Disperse. This is the bounce card. Fulgent Distraction. This is the one that taps and unattaches equipment from creatures. Dross Hopper. Sacrifice a creature to give it flying. Copperhorn Scout. When it attacks, untap each other creature you control. Uncommons. Barbed Battle Gear. I'm gonna have to do better about centering these. I should really have a platform. So 3 generic mana. You get an equipment. Equipped creature gets +4/-1. So equip for 2. So +4/-1. That is an odd number, but that makes a lot of sense in this set. I remember that being a pretty good card. Exsanguinate. This is a staple. For black, black, and X, each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. That's a pretty good card. Alt Order. For 2 and a blue, counter target spell, target artifact spell, and draw a card. $8. That's pretty good. For Exsanguinate? Seriously? And the rare is Elspeth. Well, I think you were asking for a mythic, And your wish was granted. Elspeth is one of the planeswalkers in this set. It is white, white, and 3 for a planeswalker Elspeth. You gain 1 life for each creature you control as your +2. -2, put 3 1/1 white soldier tokens onto the battlefield. That's really good. And -5, destroy all other permanents except for lands and tokens. Other permanents. So Elspeth stays. Starts with 4 loyalty. That is a decent card. Oh, that's your card, dude. Yeah, she's good in tokens for sure. Oh, a mountain and a insect with infect. Right. Well, that was an okay pack. It had a pretty expensive uncommon and a pretty good common. Yeah, that's not bad, right? Okay, here we go. Gold Mirror. This is our tap for mana cycle. It is the one to tap for white. Ferrovore. It is a beast. For 2 and a red, you get a 2/2. And sacrifice an artifact. Ferrovore gets +3/+0 until the end of the turn. It looks like a core hound, huh? For those of you who have run Molten Core. Or I guess they have pets now that are core hounds too. Galma's Warden. For 3 and a white, you get a 2/4, but Warden gets +2/+2 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. Yeah, my shoulder's cut off on this side because I'm like off center from the playmat, but if I move my camera over, I'll get the other camera in it, so I need to figure that one out. Okay, I almost Warden. Alpha Tyrannax. So this is green, green, and 4. This is the old um, Dreadmaw, right? 6/5 vanilla for 6 mana. Revoke Existence. For 1 and a white, exile target artifact or enchantment. Very good in draft. Vault Skyward. 1 blue, target creature gains flying until end of turn and untap it. Snapsail Glider. For 3 generic mana, you get a 2/2 construct that has flying if you have Metalcraft up. Black Cleave Goblin as 3 in the black. For 2/1, Goblin Zombie with haste and infect. Echo Circlet. For 2 generic mana, you get an equipment. Equipped creature can block an additional creature. Equip 1. Assault Strobe. For 1 red, you have a sorcery. Target creature gains double strike until the end of the turn. Black Cleave is also an all-star in Pauper Infect. That's good to know. Uncommons. Oxida Scrap Melter. For 3 in a red, you get a 3/3 beast. When it enters the battlefield, you can destroy a target artifact. That doesn't suck. Embersmith, another red uncommon. For 1 in a red, you get a 2/1 Human Artificer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, Embersmith deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Culling Dice. Yes, yes, yes. The Sacrifice Enabler. For 2 generic mana, you get an artifact. Tap, sacrifice a creature, put a charge counter on Culling Dice. For 1 generic mana and sacrifice Culling Dice, draw a card for each charge counter on Culling Dice. Drawing cards is good, but sacrificing creatures was really, really good. And our rare is Mirror Reservoir. For 3 generic mana, you get an artifact. You can tap to add 2 to your mana pool, 2 colorless to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast mirror spells or activate abilities of mirror. For 3 for 3 in tap, return target mirror card from your graveyard to your hand. 70 cents, I'm told. Plains and poison counter token. Right. And that will be all for T-Money's packs. He does have 1 additional pack, but it is staying sealed. Thanks T-Money for participating in the box break. You definitely got some value out of that, I think. That was cool. It's nice to see Elspeth come out of a pack. I mean, it's not your fault, right? Like the week ending, it just is what it is. I wonder what the delay is right now. Okay, so We have Dan is next, but right every time. I don't know what's going on with my headphones. Why are they turning off? I don't know. Okay, so what do we got? Where was I? So next, so Dan's pack is set aside. We have DVMTG. No, it's not low battery. It just seems to be turning off on a schedule, and I don't know why. I literally just charged it right before this. DVMTG has 9 packs. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. They are Steel Series, yeah. You know something about those that I should know? So good luck, DVMTG. Origin Spellbomb, it's the white one. You can sacrifice Origin Spellbomb to put a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact token onto the battlefield. And you can pay 1 white when it goes to the battlefield to draw a card. Plated Sea Strider, it's blue for a 1/4 vanilla creature beast. Turn to Slag. For red, and 3, you get a sorcery. Deals 5 damage to target creature and destroy all equipment attached to that creature. Download the SteelSeries engine and change the setting to never turn off. But why would it need that setting? Why? Okay, well, SteelSeries engine. Ichorclaw Mirror. For 2 generic mana, you get a 1/1 mirror with Infect, and whenever Ichorclaw Mirror becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 until the end of the turn. So you can kill 3 power creatures, or significantly weaken larger ones. Tel-Jalad Defiance, that's the first time we've seen this one. For green and 1, target creature gains protection from artifacts until end of turn and draw a card. That's pretty good. The Ichorclaw Mirror, saw that one in play. Copper Mirror, it's our tapper. Does 1 taps for green. Scrapdiver Serpent, it's unblockable as long, for blue and 5, you get a 5/5 Serpent. It's unblockable as long as defending player controls an artifact, which was basically everyone in draft. So that was a good finisher because it's very evasive. Galvanic Blast. 1 red, Galvanic Blast deals 2 damage to target creature or player. But if you have 3 or more artifacts, Galvanic Blast deals 4 damage to that creature or player instead. So that was pretty good. It's basically a shock with upside. Additional upside. Tainted Strike. Yeah, this is a good card. So Tainted Strike, for a black, you get an instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains Infect until the end of the turn. We likey. And Tumble Magnet is our last common. For 3 generic mana, you get an artifact. Tumble Magnet enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters. We talked about this one already? With 3 charge counters on it, tap and remove a charge counter, tap target artifact or a creature. So first uncommon, Vigil for the Lost. For white and 3, you get an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control is put in the graveyard from battlefield, you may pay X. If you do, you gain X life. I don't remember that being a super card for draft, but decent in a life gain deck. Carrion Call, for green and 3, you get an instant. Put 2 1/1 green insect creature tokens with Infect onto the battlefield. We saw that token just a few packs ago. It was the beetle. Last uncommon is Glimmer Point Stag. I remember seeing this guy a few times. He's the blinker. And the rare is Memoricide. For black and 3, you get a sorcery. Name a non-land card, search target player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name, and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. So, decent. 36 cents. Well, I mean, it's powerful, if not expensive. Plains and a soldier token. Set these aside. Yeah, thanks JTK, appreciate that. Yeah, the Scar Soldiers, that's a pretty cool token. I like all the tokens I just like the art in Mirrodin, basically. They have a pretty good style. So Origin Spellbomb, that's our white Spellbomb. Plated Sea Strider, that's our 1/4 vanilla. Turn to Slag, which destroys equipments and creatures. Sylvok Lifestaff, so this is an artifact equipment for 1 generic mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, and whenever equipped creature is put into a graveyard, you gain 3 life and equips for 1. Panic Spellbomb, it's our red Spellbomb. When you sacrifice it, target creature cannot block this turn. Azuri's Archers, for 1 green, you get a 1/2 with reach. Whenever Siri thought I said something to her. Never mind, Siri. Okay. Azuri's Archers. You get a 1/2 with reach. Whenever Archers blocks a creature with flying, Archers gets +3/+0 until the end of the turn. So against flyers, it's a 4/2. That's pretty good. Relic Putrescence. For black and 2, you get an enchantment aura. Oh yeah, this is the one where when the artifact becomes tapped, the controller gets a poison counter. Horizon Spellbomb searches for a basic land when you sack it. It's the green one. Assault Strobe is the sorcery that gives double strike. Vector Asp is for 1 generic mana, you get a 1/1 artifact creature snake. And for a black, Vector Asp gains infect until the end of the turn. Good way to shore up your infect draft deck. So start off our uncommons with Lifesmith. For 1 and a green, you get a 2/1 Human Artificer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, you gain 3 life. Trigon of Infestation, it's our green Trigon. When you remove a card charge counter from Trigon of Infestation, you put a 1/1 green insect creature token with Infect onto the battlefield. Another Culling Dais here, and then our rare is True Conviction. So for white, and 3, 6 total mana, you get an enchantment. Creatures you control have double strike and lifelink. That's pretty good. What's our cost on that? I mean, it's a good card. $2.64. All right. Swamp and Gobbo. Okay, that's pack number 2. DVMTG. All right, we've got, starting off with Gold Mirror, it's the white tapper. Instill Infection. For black and 3, you put a -1/-1 counter on target creature at instant speed and draw a card. Not particularly strong. Cyst Bearer, it's green and 2 for a 2/3 with Infect. The Vampires, again, if you have Metalcraft, you drain for 4. Vidalcan Surtark, you can tap things if you have Metalcraft. Nile Spellbomb, exile all cards, and you can draw a card when you sack it. If you pay black, Drawshopper, again, sacrifice a creature to give it flying. Melt Terrain, this is the land destruction with shock stapled to it. Echo Circlet, well, shock that only affects the controller of the land. Echo Circlet, this is the block additional creature dude. And Stoic Rebuttal, which is the counterspell that costs a little bit less if you have Metalcraft up. First uncommon is Golem's Heart. It is for 2 generic mana, you get an artifact. Whenever a player casts an artifact spell, you may gain 1 life. Next uncommon, Barrage Ogre. Barrage Ogre, for red, and 3, you get a 3/3 Ogre Warrior, and you can tap and sacrifice an artifact. Barrage Ogre deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Now remember this was back in the day, before they got rid of the Planeswalker damage redirection rule. So you could deal, whenever it says to creature or player, you could actually deal that damage to a Planeswalker through the redirection rule if you wished. Memnite, our 1/1 for 0. And our rare is Mere Battlesphere. Many fond memories of this card. That is an amazing piece of art as well. You can see that. By Franz Bothwinkle? Bowinkle? Okay, so you get, for 7 generic mana, you get an artifact at 50 cents. Yes, but I love this card. It's a battle sphere. You get a 4/7. When Mirror Battlesphere enters the battlefield, put 4 1/1 colorless Mirror artifact creature tokens onto the battlefield. Whenever it attacks, you may tap X untapped Mirror you control. If you do, Mirror Battlesphere gets +X/+O until end of turn and deals X damage to defending player. All you have to do is put put an infect thing on this guy, and that is an instant kill if you have enough mirror. Yep, the sphere. Planes and poison counter token. Okay. That is pack number 3 down. Moving on to pack number 4. Fear the Sphere. That's right. Okay, Blade Tribe Berserkers. This is the guy that gets haste and +3/+3 with Metalcraft. Iron Mirror is one of our tappers for red. Kemba's Skyguard. It's our gain 2 life Cat Knight Flyer. Bonds of Quicksilver. For blue and 3, you get an enchantment aura with flash. Enchant the creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Perilous Mirror. This is the dude that that shocks when it goes to the graveyard. Bladed Pinions, we talked about this one. Equipped creature has flying and first strike for 2. Seize the Initiative. Instant, 1 white. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains first strike until the end of turn. So kind of a classic combat trick there. Psychic Miasma. For black and 1, as you get a sorcery, target player discards a card. If a land card is discarded this way, return Psychic Miasma to its owner's hand. So those of you who have played against me know that I like to hold land cards in my hand because I'm an old school blue player, and that's how we pretend to have counter spells. This punished you for that. Turn Aside is blue, counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. And, ooh, that was 9 commons, and we're on to uncommons. Slice and Twain, blue, green, and 2 for an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment and draw a card. Volition Reigns. This is the control magic for permanents. So it's not just creatures. And our final uncommon, Corrupted Harvester. We've talked about this guy before. 6/3 for 6 total mana, and he regenerates. And a rare, Razorverge Thicket. Enters the battlefield tapped, so it's a fast land. It's the green and white fast land. We're going to have an island, and then our foil. It's going to be after our rules card. A foil mountain. Okay, that's a bummer. It's one thing to get 1 foil land in your box, but 2 foil lands. That's when I start feeling a little let down. 640 for Razorverge Thicket. That's not terrible. Next pack. I will download that software next time beforehand, so my headphones will stay on, which is ridiculous, but okay. Icoclar Mirror. This is the mirror that gets blocked. It gets +2/+2. Grasp of Darkness, a classic removal spell. Black. Target creature gets -4/-4 until the end of the turn. I really like this art on here because it depicts an angel. Sunspear Shikari. 4 foil basics. Oof. As long as it's equipped, it has first strike and lifelink. We talked about this one, right? 2/2 for 1 and a blue, 1 and a white. Alpha Tyrannax, 6/5 vanilla for 6. Shatter, a classic. Very, very good in draft. Red and 1, destroy target artifact. Moriok Replica. For 3 generic mana, you get an artifact creature warrior. Let's pick the bad box. Boo! For 1 and a black, sacrifice. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. So you can draw cards. Scrapdiver Serpent. It's the unblockable dude. If your opponent controls an artifact. Screeching Silclaw. 1/2 flyer for a blue and 1. Metalcraft, whenever Screeching Skullclaw deals combat damage to a player, if you control 3 or more artifacts, that player puts the top 4 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. We're about halfway through the box. Oxida Daredevil. Have we seen this guy before? So 1 and a red for a 2/1 Garblin Artificer. Sacrifice an artifact. Oxida Daredevil gains haste until end of turn. That's not particularly strong. There's still half a box. That's true. And our 10th common, Psychic Miasma. This is the one that punishes you for holding lands in your hand, or for discarding a land, rather. Infiltration Lens. For 1 generic mana, you get an artifact equipment. Whenever our equipped creature becomes blocked by a creature, you may draw 2 cards. Equip for 1. So that's actually pretty good. You slap this on a infect creature, and there's some interesting decisions to be made by your opponent. Next in common, Razor Hippogriff, white and 3 for a 3/3 flyer. When this card enters the battlefield, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain life equal to that card's converted mana cost. Doesn't suck. Darksteel Mirror, indestructible. And our rare is Stratascythe. Stratascythe, for 3 generic mana, you get artifact equipment with Imprint. When Stratascythe enters the battlefield, search your library for a land card, exile it, then shuffle your library. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land on the battlefield with the same name as the exiled card, and you equip for 3. So that's kind of a weird one, but that's pretty cool. Can you go over DVs when we're done? Oh, but sure, no problem. And we have Island and Poison Counter Token. I assume that the DV just wants to know about the rares, uncommons, and foils, right? I don't have to go through all the commons again. 51 cents. Just the big stuff. Okay. Gold Mirror. This is our tapper. It taps for white. Pharaoh of War lets you sacrifice an artifact to pump it. Golem's Warden. +2/+2 for Metalcraft. It's a 2/4. Contagious Nim. This is our 2/2 zombie with Infect. Strider Harness. This is our equipment that gives +1/+1 in haste. The good stuff. Nile Spellbomb. It lets you exile graveyards. Glimmer Post. Glimmer Post is a Locus. Kuldotha Rebirth. So for 1 red, you get a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast Kuldotha Rebirth, sacrifice an artifact, and you can put 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. Vector Asp. This is our 1/1 artifact creature that can gain Infect for black. And Vault Skyward, the thing that their instant that gives flying until end of turn. Uncommons. Arc Trail. For 1 and a red, you get a sorcery. Arc Trail deals 2 damage to target creature or player and 1 damage to another target creature or player. That doesn't suck. 3 total damage for 2. Carrion Call. This is our Infect token generator. You get 2 Infect tokens for green and 3. And Rust Tick. We haven't seen this guy yet. For 3 generic mana, you get Artifact Creature Insect. You may choose not to untap Rust Tick during your untap step. For 1 untap, you can tap target artifact. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as Rust Tick remains tapped. So it's a perma-tapper for artifacts. And the rare is Asceticism. This is for green and 3, you get an enchantment. Creatures you control can't be the targets of spells or abilities your opponents control. So all your creatures have hexproof. And for 1 and a green, regenerate target creature. $14. Pretty good. And Island and Infect Rules Tip card. Three packs to go. Okay, Soliton. This is the one you can untap for blue. Grasp of Darkness are one of our removal favorites for. I swear, I did not know this thing had this problem. Is it because I don't have any sound coming through the headphones? Is that why it's turning itself off? Bonds of Quicksilver. This is the flash enchantment that stops things from untapping. Copper Mirror taps for green. Heart Stoker gives +2/+0 when it ETBs to another creature. White Sun's Passage, you gain 5 life. Scoria Elemental, 6/1 vanilla, and a Quarter's Shield. I don't know if we've seen this one yet. So this is for 0 mana. You get an equipment. Our equipped creature gets +0/+3 and Vigilance, and it's equipped 3. That's what I thought too. Salvage Scout. So you can sacrifice this dude. Oh, we haven't seen him. So 1 white. It's a 1/1 human scout. For white and sacrifice, you return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. That doesn't suck. And Bladed Pinions. Flying and first strike equipment. Starting on our uncommons. Razor Hippogriff. This is the one that returns an artifact when it ETBs and gives you life. Viridian Revel. Green, green, and 1, you get an enchantment. Whenever an artifact is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, you may draw a card. And Painsmith is our final uncommon in this pack. For black and 1, you get a 2/1 Human Artificer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may have target creature get +2/+0 and gain Death Touch until the end of the turn. And our rare is a mythic, Liege of the Tangle. Liege of the Tangle, green, green, and 6. You get an 8/8 elemental with trample. Whenever Liege of the Tangle deals combat damage to a player, you may choose any number of target lands you control and put an Awakening counter on each of them. Each of those lands is an 8/8 green elemental creature for as long as it has an Awakening counter on it. They're still lands. 275, but I would argue that that is a really good card. If you have the mana to cast it, that's the one. Forest, and ooh, that goblin guy keeps coming back. Okay. Pack number 8. Blight Mamba. This is our 1/1 Infector that you can regenerate. Replica, you can sacrifice to destroy artifact or enchantment. Fume Spitter, sacrifice to put a -1 on this counter. That's 2 of about 6 mythics. Maybe. 6 mythics? I think it was like a 4 per box. Perilous Mirror, our Shocker. Enter the graveyard Shocker. Heart Stoker. When it enters the battlefield, he gets something else +2. Flight Spellbomb, that's the sacrifice for flying. That's our blue one. Blunt the Assault. For green and 3, you get an instant. You gain 1 life for each creature on the battlefield. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. So it is an expensive fog with life gain attached. Fulgent Distraction. For white and 2, you get an instant. Choose 2 target creatures, tap those creatures, and then attach all equipment from them. Oh yeah, we went over that one already. Rebirth. This is the one where if you sacrifice an artifact and you get 3/1/1 goblins. Disperse, the bouncer, and then uncommons. Slice and Twain. It's our cantrip, destroy artifact or enchantment. Golem Artisan. For 5 generic mana, you get a 3/3 artifact creature golem. For 2 mana, 2 generic, you get target artifact creature gains +1/+1 until end of turn. For 2 generic mana, target artifact creature gains your choice of flying, trample, or haste until end of turn. So that's pretty good. That's gonna send your artifact creatures over the top. Last uncommon, Mirror Galvanizer. For 3 generic mana, you get a 2/2 artifact creature mirror. Other mirror creatures you control get +1/+1. And for 1 and tap, you can untap each other mirror you control. And our rare is Dissipation Field. Blue, blue, and 2, and you get an enchantment. Whenever a permanent deals damage to you, return it to its owner's hand. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then we have a mountain and an insect token. $1.70 for that one. Okay, and last pack for DV. Here we go. See what we get. I feel dirty tearing packs. Okay, Sisbear. This one doesn't want it. This is our. Ooh, I don't think we've seen this one. So Sisbear for green and 2, you get a 2/3 beast creature with Infect, one of the rare higher power Infect creatures. So that was pretty good. Leaden Mirror, it's a tapper. You tap this one for black. Reaver, so 3/2 vanilla. Foil Mountain, right? Helma's Warden. This is the 2/4 that gets +2/+2 if you have Metalcraft up. Chrome Steed. For 4 generic mana, you get a 2/2 artifact creature horse. With Metalcraft, you get +2/+2, so it could be a. It accounts for himself because he has an artifact. So 2 other artifacts. Telgelad Defiance, protection from artifacts plus cantrip. Nurok Invisimancer. For blue and 1, you get a 2/1 human wizard. Nurok Invisimancer is unblockable. When Nurok Invisimancer enters the battlefield, target creature is unblockable this turn. Wall of Tangle Cord. It's the thing that it's a 0/6 wall that you can give reach. Whitesun's Passage, gain 5 life, and Tumble Magnet, which can tap a artifact or creature. And then uncommons. Trigon of Corruption. This is the one where you can remove a counter to place a -1/-1 counter on a creature. Dispense Justice, the one where a player has to sacrifice an attacking creature. With Metalcraft, they have to sacrifice 2. And Glimmerpoint Stag, which blinks one of your permanents. Or another target permanent, so any permanent. And our rare is Molten Psyche. Molten Psyche for red, and 1. You get a sorcery. Each player shuffles the cards from his or her hand into his or her library and then draws that many cards. So a chaos effect. And Metalcraft, Molten Psyche deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of cards that player has drawn this turn. $3.50. Not too bad. Punishes people for large hands. We have a mountain and a poison counter. Okay, so that was it for DVMTG's packs. We've got, I don't know what this is done. So we got Molten Psyche, Dissipation Field, Liege of the Tangle. I want to say Liege of the Trample, but that's not it. Asceticism, which I think might be the highest value card that you pulled. Stratascythe. Razorverge Thicket. Mirror Battlesphere. True Conviction. And Memoricide. I don't think you had any really strong uncommons, but I'll just double look here. You won one against you guys with which card? Memoricide or? Oh, Molten Psyche? Metal one. The metal one? Okay. Congratulations, DVMTG. Thank you for taking part. Should have set up a space to put these down in order, huh? But don't worry, I'm keeping them in order. I just didn't have a space for it specifically. Okay, next is JTK45 with 4 packs. Peace TV. Okay, the metal one. Yep. All right, so we'll start with this guy. He's a guy, I think. I mean, I don't want to like assume gender, but he looks like a dude. Come on, foil Skittles. All right, Pharaoh, This is the one where you can sacrifice an artifact to pump him. Silver Mirror. This is the blue, taps for blue. Cyst Bearer, 2/3 Infect. Molder Beast, 5/3 with +2/+0 with Trample that gets +2/+0 when an artifact is put into the graveyard. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard, so that's both sides. Revoke Existence, good removal. Panic Spellbomb, red Spellbomb. Copperhorn Scout, it's the untapper. Black Cleave Goblin, it's our 2/1 Infector with haste, pretty good. Necrogen Sensor, you can take people's life away with that. And Melt Terrain, which is our land destruction with a shock attached to it. Psyche is what you meant? Yeah, that's a decent card. Especially people that they're like holding a grip. They've just refilled their hands. Heavy Arbalest. I feel like this was reprinted recently. So for 3 generic mana, you get Artifact Equipment. Equipped creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. And equipped creature has tap. This creature deals 2 damage to target creature or player. This is cool because you could slap this on an Infector and launch poison counters at people. Rusted Relic, 4 generic mana for an artifact. Rusted Relic is a 5/5 Golem artifact creature as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. No foil in this one. Tangle Angler, this is our Infector, 1/5 Infector with a Lure ability, and our rare is Argent Sphinx. Argent Sphinx is blue and 2 for a Sphinx that has flying, and for blue, Metalcraft, for blue, exile Argent Sphinx, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step, so it can blink itself. 34 cents. Ooh, the pretty golem art on the token here, not bad. And I also like the lands. Actually, I haven't been showing these, but it's very Mirrodin being like metal and machinery and technology has a lot of really cool looking like metal art. So that's the Sphinx. Next pack. We'll start off with Blight Mamba, our 1/1 Infector that regenerates. Auroch Replica, which does a fog effect for white. Plague Stinger, it's a 1/1 Flying Infect. Narok Invisimancer, it's unblockable, 2/1 for 3. Corpse Cur, 2/2 with Infect, and it brings back an Infector from your graveyard. Salvage Scout, you can sack this guy to get an artifact back from your graveyard. Razorfield Thresher, a 6/4 vanilla creature for 7 generic mana. Construct. Golden Urn. So this is for 1 mana, 1 generic mana, you get an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Golden Urn. And then you can tap and sacrifice it. You gain life equal to the number of charge counters on Golden Urn. Withstand Death, so that's indestructible for 1 green. And Screeching Slowclaw. This is our miller with Metalcraft, so it mills if you have Metalcraft up. Uncommons, Golem's Heart. For 2 generic mana, you get an artifact. Whenever a player casts an artifact spell, you may gain 1 life. Exsanguinate. We saw this earlier. We decided this was a pretty good card to pull. One of the best uncommons in the set, if not the best uncommon. Yeah, great for Commander. Black, and X. You get a sorcery. Each opponent loses X life, $8, and you gain life equal to the life lost this way. So that's pretty good. If you're not playing one-on-one, even if you're playing one-on-one. Rust Tick. This is the one that taps down artifacts. Most expensive uncommon. Yep. And our rare is Lux Cannon. I have fond memories of this. Lux Cannon, 4 generic mana, you get an artifact. You can tap and put a charge counter on Lux Cannon, and then you may tap and remove 3 charge counters from Lux Cannon, destroy target permanent. So charge counters were another theme that was in Scars of Mirrodin. It went really well proliferate, as you can imagine, because once you had a counter on here and you proliferate, you get another counter for free. So you can really pump this thing up in a proliferate deck and just basically destroy a lot of permanents. And we have Mountain and a Mirror token. Mirrors are funny looking dudes, but soft spot in my heart for them. And the Mountain, which is not the metal version, but it's got like a little metal floaty thing over there to the left. Okay. So Lux Cannon, that's that's a mythic. Mythic number 3, that's right. Pack number 3. Tel'Gelad Fallen, protection from artifact. Ooh, so we haven't seen this guy yet. Green, green, and 2. You get a 3/1 Elf Warrior with protection from artifacts and infect. So 3 power infect creature. That doesn't suck. Auriok Sunchaser. It's a 1/1. It becomes a 3/3 flyer with Metalcraft up. Iron Mirror taps for red. Sea Strider is our 1/4 vanilla. Arrest, a classic white removal, but we haven't seen it, so for white and 2, body and mind, huh? For white and 2, you get an enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. Classic white removal. Chrome Steed, it's a 4/4 if you have Metalcraft up, otherwise a 2/2. Carapace Forger, it's a 4/4 for 2 if you control 3 artifacts. It's an elf. Turn aside, counter a spell that targets a permanent you control. Scorchia Elemental, 6/1 vanilla. And withstand death, indestructible for 1 green. So uncommons. Liquid Metal Coating, yes, beautiful. 2 generic mana, tap. Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn. So you can do some shenanigans with that. Bloodshot Trainee, red and 3. Creature Goblin Warrior. You get it. So for red and 3, you get a 2/3 Goblin Warrior, and tap. Bloodshot Trainee deals 4 damage to target creature. Activate this ability only if Bloodshot Trainee's power is 4 or greater. So you typically want to throw an equipment on this guy. And Memnite, our 0 cast 1/1, and our rare Spike Shot Elder. So this is a good card. For 1 red, you get a 1/1 Goblin Shaman. For red, and 1, you get Spike Shot Elder, deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player, 42 cents. But if you build this guy up, that could be quite a bit of damage for 3. And we've got a swamp, very spooky, like ruins or something, and imprint rules tip. Lux Cannon was a pretty good pull. That one not so good, but just only value-wise. I mean, in terms of money, I am a firm believer that the real value of Magic cards is the gathering and not so much the cost. Okay, so this is our Tel'Gelad Fallen. This is our Elf Warrior, protection from artifacts and infect, 3/1. Auriok Sunchaser, 1/1. It becomes a 3/3 if you have Metalcraft up. Iron Mirror taps for red. Bladed Sea Strider, we see a lot of this guy. It's a 1/4 vanilla. Chrome Steed, 4/4 if you have Metalcraft up. Contagious Nim is our infect zombie for 3, 2/2. Carapace Forger, our elf 4/4 if you have Metalcraft up for 2. Strider Harness, +1/+1 in haste. Razor Field Thresher, which is 6/4. And Blister Grub. We haven't seen this guy yet. Blister Grub, for black and 2, you get a 2/2 horror with Swamp Walk. And when it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 2 life. Swamp Walk is decent. People like black. Darksteel Axe. For 1 generic mana, you get an artifact equipment. Darksteel Axe is indestructible because it's Darksteel. And equipped creature gets +2/+0, equipped for 2. Skin Render. I love this card. I actually did give my daughter a playset of these for her deck. This is black, and 2. You get a 3/3 zombie. When Skin Render enters the battlefield, put 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature. So you want to make sure you're not the only one with creatures at this point, but it's pretty good. Good. Bellowing Tangleworm. For green, and 3, you get a 4/4 worm That's the kind with a U. With Intimidate. Intimidate, this creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a color with it. And other green creatures you control have Intimidate. And our rare is Tower of Calamities. Tower of Calamities, for 4 generic mana, you get an artifact. For For 8 generic mana and tap, it deals 12 damage to target creature. That's pretty good. Island and our friend the Goblin. All right, 34 cents. JTK, those were your packs. Thanks for participating in the box break. And we're on to Eric Williamson. Eric has 2 packs. I think did we pull Contagion Engine earlier or not? Maybe I'm misremembering that. All right, Eric. Yeah, I just have his name in my thingy. It's not. I don't have his handle, so I hope it's okay that I said his name, Eric. You can edit that out in post if you need to, I guess. 42113. That's. Oh, okay. That's right. We got the clasp earlier. Good point. Moriok Reaver. It's our 3/2 vanilla. Sky Eel School. This is a looter. So for a blue, and 3, you get a 3/3 flying fish. When it enters the battlefield, loot. That is, draw a card and then discard a card. Saberclaw Golem. It is a for 5 generic mana, you get a 4/2 artifact creature Golem. For 1 red, he gains first strike until the end of the turn. Shatter. Perilous Mirror. Tyrannax. Heartstoker. Wall of Tanglecord. Quarter Shield. And White Sun's Passage. Okay, our uncommons are Darkslick Drake. For blue, and 2, you get a flying drake. When he dies, draw a card. It's a 2/4. Ichor Rats. Yes. Black, and 1, you get a 2/1 rat. With Infect, when he enters the battlefield, each player gets a poison counter. Ogre Gear Grabber. For red, and 4, you get a 4/4 Ogre Warrior. When Ogre Gear Grabber attacks, gain control of target equipment an opponent controls until end of turn. Attach it to Ogre Gear Grabber. When you lose control of that equipment, unattach it. And our rare, Blackcleave Cliffs, the red-black Fastland. We have a forest and an imprint rules card. Rats is $1.44. And Blackcleave Cliffs is $18.25. So that's a hit. Good job. Okay, so Lumen Grid Drake. This is the one with Metalcraft. You can return a creature to its owner's hand. Verovor, you can sacrifice artifacts to buff it. Silver Mirror taps for blue. Narak Replica, you can sacrifice to bounce. Galvanic Blast is 2 unless it's 4. Glimmer Post is our Locus. Buldotha Rebirth, this is the sacrifice an artifact for 3 1/1 goblins. Vector Asp, you can give it a Infect for 1 black. Vault Skyward, flying until end of turn and untap it. And Soul Parry, prevent all damage 1 or 2 target creatures will deal this turn. Okay, uncommons. Vigil for the Lost. This is the one where if a creature you control dies, you can pay X to gain X life. Clone Shell. We haven't seen this guy before. So Clone Shell is for 5 generic mana, you get an artifact creature Shapeshifter with Imprint. When Clone Shell enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down, then put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. When Clone Shell is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, turn the exiled card face up. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield under your control. Trinket Mage. This is a cool part of a very long cycle the Wizards stretched out. But Trinket Mage is 1 blue and 2. You get a 2/2 creature human wizard. When Trinket Mage enters the battlefield, yeah, it's pretty good. You may search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost 1 or less, reveal that card, and put it into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. And the rare, Tempered Steel. White, white, and 1. Enchantment, artifact creatures you control get +2/+2, so it's an artifact anthem. And forest and poison counter tokens. $1 for Tempered Steel. All right, thanks for participating, Eric. Start putting them over here. Next up is GM Bond. GM Bond has 2 packs. Good luck to you. Bonds of Quicksilver. This is the you cannot untap your thing. Flash enchantment. Gold mirror taps for white. Instill infection. Counter and cantrips. Cyst Bearer 2/3 infect. Vidal Concertarch. Tap target artifact with creature or land if you have Metalcraft up. Carapace Forager. It's a 4/4 elf if you have Metalcraft up. Life Staff. If when the creature dies, you gain life. Blister Grub is a Swamp Walker we talked about earlier. Oxidata Daredevil, we talked about that one earlier. It gives haste when you sacrifice it. Salvage Scout lets you return an artifact. Uncommons. Flesh Allergy. Flesh Allergy for black, black, and 2. You get a sorcery and is an additional cost to cast Flesh Allergy. Sacrifice a creature. Destroy target creature. Its controller loses life equal to the number of creatures put into all graveyards from the battlefield this turn. That's not bad. Not great, but not bad. Twisted Image. Oh yeah, one of the classics. For 1 blue, you get an instant. Switch target creature's power and toughness until the end of the turn, and draw a card. And our last uncommon for the pack is Rusted Relic. This is a 5/5 for 4 if you have Middlecraft. And the rare is Grand Architect. Grand Architect, for blue, blue, and 1, you get a 1/3 Vidalcan Artificer. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1. Rise of the Eldrazi, that would be fun. That is fun. That's a good set. For 1 blue, target artifact creature becomes blue until end of turn, and which synchronizes with itself. Tap an untapped blue creature you control, add 2 mana to your mana pool, spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. $1.77. We have an island and a golem. Second pack for GM Bond. Saberclaw Golem. It's our 4/2 that gains first strike for red. The Fallen, it's a 3/1 Infector. Echoclaw Mirror, it's our shock guy. Plague Stinger. Plague Stingers are 1/1 flyer with infect. I would love to box break an alpha box, but I'm afraid the packs would be quite expensive. Carapace Forager is our 4/4 for 2 if you have Metalcraft up. Corpse Cur brings back infectors from the graveyard. Arrest puts the clamp on creatures. Seize the initiative. Combat Trick. Psychic Miasma punishes lands in hand, and Turn Aside, counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. Liquid Metal Coating, we've seen this a couple times, turns stuff into artifacts. Trigon of Mending, repeatable life gain, we've seen that one, it's the white one. And another Trinket Mage, so that's cool. And the rare is Copperline Gorge. It is the red-green fast land. We have Swamp and a Mirror token. Copperline Gorge is pretty good. I know, right? A lot of lands in here. And that will be it for GM Bond. Thank you for participating. Next we have Biensona. And that Biensona has 4 packs, so $6 for the Copperline Gorge. It's pretty good. Not great, but good. All right, good luck. I know, right? Glint Hawk, it's our flyer, which it's a 2/2 flyer for 1, but you have to return an artifact to your hand, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Glint Hawk Idol, I feel like we've had this pack before. That was the exact same starter for another pack. Molder Beast, it buffs when an artifact dies. Arrest. Golem Foundry. Golem Foundry, for 3 generic mana you get an artifact. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may put a charge counter on Golem Foundry. Remove 3 charge counters from Golem Foundry to put a 3/3 colorless Golem artifact creature token onto the battlefield. Tainted Strike, +1/+0 and Infect for black. That is good. Turn Aside, countering spells to target our permanents. Seize the Initiative, white combat trick. Withstand Death, green combat trick. Oh, that was 9 commons, and we're on the uncommons. This pack has a foil. So Arc Trail is our first uncommon, and this is the one that deals 2 and then 1. You want to be surprised on the prices for my packs when editing. Not sure who you're directing that to. Should we? Does that mean we don't want to? Auriok Edgewright is the other one. This is the double strike for Metalcraft for 2. These are Biensonas, yeah. This is his first pack. And Barrage Ogre, which basically flings artifacts for 2. And the rare Darksteel Juggernaut. For 5 generic mana, you get an artifact creature Juggernaut. Darksteel Juggernaut's power and toughness are each equal to the number of artifacts you control, and Darksteel Juggernaut is indestructible and attacks each turn if able. It's a nice callback to Jugs. We have Plains and a Soldier token, and the foil, Glimmerpoint Stag. So it's a foil uncommon. Okay. First pack down. Second pack, Silver Mirror, taps for blue. Blade Tribe Berserkers, enters the battlefield with bonuses if you have Metalcraft up. Blight Mamba, 1/1 Infect Regenerate. Sylvok Replica, sack to disenchant. Revoke Existence, exile target artifact or enchantment. Life Staff, so when the creature dies, there was not a foil mountain. So, you get life. Tel'Jalad Defiance, a cantrip protection from artifacts. Blister Grub, Swamp Walk guy. Quarter Shield gives +0/+3 and Vigilance, and Tainted Strike. So +1/+0 and Infect for a black. Golem Artisan buffs other artifact creatures. Bloodshot Trainee. Again, this is the guy that you have to buff, but then he can deal 4 damage to tap. And Rustic, the thing that taps down your an artifact and doesn't let it untap. And our rare is Semblance Anvil, which I don't remember this card. For 3 generic mana, you get an artifact. Imprint, when Semblance Anvil enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-land card from your hand. Spells you cast that share a card type with the exiled card cost 2 less to cast. Yeah, that seems decent. And Mountain and Rules Tip is Poison. Okay, that's pretty good. Hearing good things about Semblance Anvil. Nice pack. Grasp of Darkness. Love that card. Sunspear Shikari. Yep, if as long as it's equipped, it has first strike and lifelink. Full Shock Replica. Sack to bolt. Moriak Replica. Sack to deal, take 2 damage and draw 2 cards. Vampires. If you have Metalcraft up, it drains for 4. Circlet. Can block an additional creature. Assault Strobe. Double Strike. Combat, or not a combat trick, it's a sorcery. I don't know who. Oh yeah, so Bandit, we opened your packs first. I can show you those packs right after I'm finished here if you want. Soul Parry, Light Spellbomb, and Azuri's Archers. Heavy Arbalest, so for flinging poison guys. Lifesmith, so whenever you cast an artifact, you can pay 1 and get life. And Riddlesmith, for blue and 1, you get a 2/1 Human Artificer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card, so you can loot when you cast artifacts. That's pretty good. And our rare is Argentinian Armor. Pretty good card. It is for 6 generic mana. You get artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +6/+6, and whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy a target permanent. It equips for 6, which sounds expensive, but when you realize that on turn 7 you're destroying target permanents with +6/+6, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And we have Forest. Ooh, and a wolf token. This one appears to be a spirit wolf. That's pretty cool. And last pack for Sona. New viewer, or am I bad with names? I'm not sure. Oh, I think Kenzo is Bandit Wolf. Oh, Bronze Panda. Hi, Bronze Panda. I know you from MTG Marketplace. Leaden Mirror. Tap for black. Moriok Reaver. Sorry, 3/2 3/2 vanilla. Galma's Warden. It's a if you have Metalcraft up, it's a 4/6 for 4. Origin Spellbomb. It's our white Spellbomb. Silvok Lifestaff. It's the equipment that gives you life when the equipped creature dies. Psychic Miasma punishes discarding lands. It actually makes you discard a land and then punishes that. MTG Marketplace has Fit Panda. Oh, Bronze Panda and Fit Panda are 2 different people? Okay, I do not know you from MTG Marketplace. I just knew Panda. My pattern matcher is not working very well. Tumble Magnet. You can remove a charge counter to tap something. Razorfield Thresher, 6/4 vanilla. Blister Grub is our Swamp Walker. And, ooh, we go straight to uncommons after 9 commons, so we're looking at a foil here. We have not seen a foil rare yet, so here's hoping. Skin Render, I love this card. I think I talked about that before. He puts 3 -1/-1 counters. Acid Web Spider, we haven't seen this guy yet. Green, and 3, you get a 3/5 spider with reach. When Acid Web Spider enters the battlefield, you may destroy target equipment, which is relevant for Mirrodin. And the Gear Grabber, he's the one that attacks, takes your equipment, and then lets it go at the end of the turn. And the rare is Ratchet Bomb. This is a cool card, one of the stars of Mirrodin. For 2 generic mana, you get an artifact. You can tap to put a charge counter on Ratchet Bomb, and tap and sacrifice Ratchet Bomb to destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost, mana value, equal to the number of charge counters on Ratchet Bomb. That's pretty good. Plains, Cat Token, and our foil is Lifestaff. So foil common. Okay. That was, I know, right? Ratchet's the best. That was it for Sona. Sona, thanks for participating in our box break. And we're down to our last participant, Cheese Over Rice. Cheese Over Rice has 4 packs, but one of them was set aside so that unopened as requested. All right, good luck to you. All right, Volshock Replica. 3 damage. You can bolt the player for that for sacrifice. Turn to Slag. It's our land destruction with shock. Sunspear, first strike and lifelink if it's equipped. Invisimancer are unblockable. Chrome Steed 4/4 for 4 if you have Metalcraft. Soul Parry, preventing damage from 1 or 2 target creatures. Blue Spellbomb. Archers. Steady Progress proliferates great. And Black Spellbomb. Twisted Image, this is the one that switches power and toughness that cantrips. Clone Shell, this is the one that exiles a card face down, and when it dies, turn the card face up, and if it's a creature, you get to put it into play. And Palladium Mirror, which is for 3 generic mana, you get an artifact creature mirror, 2/2, and you can tap it for 2 colorless mana. And our rare is Precursor Golem. Precursor Golem for 5 generic mana, you get artifact creature golem, 3/3. And when Precursor Golem enters the battlefield, put 2 3/3 colorless Golem artifact creature tokens onto the battlefield. So for 5 mana, you get a total of 9 power and toughness. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery that targets only a single Golem, I will fix that before the next box break. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery that targets only a single golem, that player copies that spell for each other golem that spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those golems. This can work in your favor or against you. So if an opponent casts a disenchant on your golem, they're going to be disenchanting all of your golems. But if you have a combat trick, yeah, pretty good. Okay, Mountain and Infect rules tip. All right, pack one down. Next pack. Mathematically speaking, we should have a foil rare in one of these packs, unless we don't. But I think that we haven't seen one yet, so hopefully. Okay, Lumen Grid Drake. This is a 2/2 flyer that if it enters the battlefield and you have Metalcraft up, it can bounce. Our White Spellbomb. Our Hellion, 5/4 Haster. Our Unblockable. If your opponent controls a artifact, Dross Hopper, that's the sacrifice creature for flying, melt terrain, land destruction with shock. Echo Circlets, can you block an additional creature? Stoic Rebuttal, counter target spell, 1 less with Metalcraft. Loxodon Wayfarer, a 1/5 vanilla. And Wing Puncture, target, it's a one-sided fight against flyers. Oh, Necropede. This is a cool card. I love this art. It's just gross and wonderful. So Necropede is for 2 generic mana. You get an artifact creature insect, a 1/1, with Infect. And when Necropede is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. So it withers when it dies. Oxida Scrap Melter. This is the ETB destroy target artifact. And Corrupted Harvester. So this is the one that you can sacrifice a creature to regenerate. And our rare is Carnifex Demon. Look at that beautiful art. I mean, demons are in the top 3 of my favorites, creature types. For black, and 4, you get a 6/6 flying creature demon. Carnifex Demon enters the battlefield with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. For black and remove a -1/-1 counter, you can put a -1/-1 counter on each other creature. That's pretty good. This would go good in a Vorinclex deck, right? Or it would combo with Vorinclex because your creatures wouldn't get one, and their creatures would get 2. Okay, and we have Soldier Token and an Island, one of those pretty metal ones. All right, final pack. Here it comes. Last pack. Got a big boy on the cover. Oops. All right. Blight Mamba, 1/1 Infect Regenerate. Auriok Replica prevents damage. Plague Stinger, 1/1 Flying Infect. Galvanic Blast, 2 damage unless it's 4 damage. Echo Circlet to block an additional creature. Assault Strobe, Double Strike Sorcery. Soul Parry, Fog for 1 or 2 creatures. Blue Spellbomb, give flying. Azuri's Archers, it's a Reacher that blocks for additional damage, blocks flyers. Oh, no foil in this pack, unfortunately. Steady Progress, proliferate and draw a card. Trigon of Infestation. This one is the one that you can make Infectors. All right. Necrogen Scudder. So for black and 2, you get a 3/3 horror, flying horror, which doesn't suck. 3/3 flyer for 3 is pretty good. And when it enters the battlefield, you lose 3 life. Throne of Geth. For 2 generic mana, you get an artifact. You can tap and sacrifice an artifact to proliferate. And the rare is Mirror Propagator. So Mirror Propagator, for 3 generic mana, you get an artifact creature Mirror, a 1/1. For 3 and tap, you can put a token that's a copy of Mirror Propagator onto the battlefield. So he makes more of himself. It makes more of itself. Swamp and a Golem. Well, that is not the best Scars box I've ever opened, but it's certainly not the worst. So thank you, Cheese. I have your pack set aside so that will come with your cards. Thanks for participating, and thanks everyone for tuning in to our box break for Scars of Mirrodin. I will settle up with all the folks that need mailings. I'll contact you over Discord, and we'll get all that set up. All right. Thanks a lot, and I'll catch you guys later.